So as bad as it looks, it's but a chapter in the life of this orchard here, and we will come to deal with other weeds later on. One of the most difficult things for me in organic citrus is weeds, or to put it nicely, native grasses. I still, even though I quit using pre-emergence herbicides in 1989 when we got certified, it's still hard for me, being I grew up where everything in citrus, there was no ground cover. It was all gone, and you do that with herbicides. So it's been difficult even now to come and look at this and say, oh man, ground cover or native grasses respond to dominance. In other words, what is the dominant plant that's growing? Dominance meaning it takes the nutrition first. Dominance means it gets the sunlight first. And dominant means it has genetics to outcompete this. If you were to plant citrus trees, because they grow relatively slow, the weeds would eat them up. But once they get to a certain size, the soil environment begins to change. And it will change a number of times as the tree gets bigger. To give you an example, what you see here is nutgrass. I hate this with a passion, because even if you use herbicides, because it grows by rhizomes, it's tough to kill. But look around the base of that tree. You see one or two plants, but nothing like you see in the sun. So what I've had to learn over the years is that the dynamics of what grows on the ground in an organic system is going to change. As each year as we go along and the tree gets bigger, the nutgrass gets less and less and less. And probably in 3 or 4 years, there will not be any nutgrass here. Nutgrass will never get bigger than this. So as these trees grow, that's why I'm not worried about it. They will gradually outcompete and outdominate this nutgrass. But as they get bigger, the weed or native grass combo, whatever grows, turns to annuals instead of perennials. And annuals in California, they grow during the winter and spring and look really nasty. But when it gets 110, they die. Or they die anyway because they're annuals and they only grow during the winter. So there's things that you have to know about the life cycle, not only of insects to control them, but also the life cycle of the ground that you're farming, because it does vary. And there's little tricks of the trade that we can use, but our orchards still look messy. Orange trees have a hard time becoming dominant until they're 20 years old. So to have these weeds out here really does take nutrition away. Having said that, knowing the life cycle of nutrition, meaning, okay, these things will die. What happens when they die? Well, they go on the ground, they decompose, and whatever they've used up, they've released. So after about a 4 or 5 year period, there's a life cycle for biologically soil life cycle that takes care of these things. They will rot and they will return to the soil what they've used up. But I'm cognizant of the fact that this isn't the last of the story. It's only the beginning. I won't see the results of that for 3, 4, 5 years, but I do know that the end of the story isn't next year, it's down the road.